I want to say it isn't that I don't care who hears it. It's that if there is any one message that I would like any of the fans that I'm fortunate to have to take away from any of what I do, it is actually that you do what you do without an incredible amount of concern for what the opinions are of people that are hearing you. And I think that it's an awful thing when, and this happens every day, especially like the higher up you get, if you're an artist and you change really in any way what you do because of outside pressures, because they have nothing to do with it. And any artist who's in the history of the world who's ever done something that has actually changed anything or made something that was really, really important has not given a fuck about anybody else. They did it. I mean, it's a cliche story by now, but everybody knows that when, like, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony came out, everybody was like, that is the ugliest piece of shit I've ever heard. And so it's just one of those things. You cannot use the people around you even as a judge of what you do. If you do it, you better fucking be strong enough to just do it the way that you want. And if you're not, then don't get out there and sell it. Don't get on stage and do it. I've been making music for so long. Since I was 4 years old, I've been performing on stage just my whole entire life, everywhere. Classical music, like jazz, any kind of thing. I've done it, and you cannot please anybody. And I guess I really don't care about that, because I think that if there is anybody that respects me for what I do, I think that's actually the thing that they respect, not the songs or whatever it is that we actually do. They respect the fact that I don't care what they think. And it sounds horrible, but I don't think it is.
No, that's right, and I think that's the only way to be successful for a long time. And I think you're the best example for this.
It will, and that's what it's supposed to do, because I'm not the same person that I was yesterday, and I never will be. If you see an artist that stays the same way over 10 years, you pretty much know they're lying, because nobody stays the same way over 10 years.
Right. So normally in Germany or in Europe, Emilie Autumn stands for a solo project. So now you're on stage with your girls, and everybody was a little bit surprised to see these nice girls and doing a really good performance. So I would be interested in where do you get the knowledge of each other? Where do you found them? So because these two girls are coming from Germany, I've heard, and you two come from America. So is it by the internet or by a project? Or
it's really not that difficult. Everybody has mutual friends. Everybody sort of has an eye out for somebody that's like, you know, I see a prela and I say something, I know she's like me, and I have to have her. I need her to move into the asylum today. And so then you just make it happen. And if it's meant to be, it is. And there's actually a great deal of girls in the asylum who will be on stage in certain areas, who will not be on stage in certain areas, and it is actually a whole world. There's a whole network of girls who are part of this, and as we go on with the world tour, and it's very exciting, dates keep getting added. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to Holland, and it's insane. I never imagined it, and yeah, there will be new girls in every place, and there will be the few very important ones who will hopefully be with me always. And yeah, I think the really exciting thing about it is that it will always be a different show. Every time it'll always be new.
You're really a multi-tasking artist, and you develop your own clothes. And this is what I want to ask. So, do you have developed the clothes for the girls here?
Actually, I usually make my own costumes, and that's what I've been known for doing forever. And I've made clothes for other people, and I've done videos and whatever, and I love to do that. However, the main seamstress of the asylum is actually Vicona, who has her own design line and her own website. What is that?
Vicona.de.
Yeah, and she does actually sell things that people can actually buy on their own, and it may not be something quite this fabulous, but it's definitely nice, and we want to get the word out so that people can get a hold of her really amazing work. And yeah, we're very, very lucky that she has these skills to dress us all in this amazing way. Yeah, this is Vicona's. La la la. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I love it. We're all just like girly girls, and we just like to play dress up and put on.
But your dress is developed by your own, right?
No, the outfit that I wore on stage today was mine, but I had a corset by Vicona, so it's a mix of things that I've made myself and things that she's brought for us.
Okay, so everybody can order the clothes at your label and you can design. So, because I need a marriage outfit.
Yeah.
My last question would be concerning your text and your music itself. So, because it's obvious that you're mixing up different styles, for example, Victoria styles. You call yourself or your music Victorian industrial or something. What ideas behind this, and why is this time so important for you?
It's extremely important for a few reasons. For one, it was the start of the Industrial Revolution, which is kind of like, that's interesting, but it's actually quite important because everything that we know now in our society was basically drawn, developed over hundreds of years, of course, but the real start of things as we know it started then. Factories, machinery, mechanics, the social structure. What really fascinates me, of course, is psychology and psychiatry, and that's what is my main area of study. The history of psychology is the history of any form of mental health, of any form of, okay, well, that's where we're talking about asylums. That's where there were these places at that time. And Victorian culture, it's fascinating for so many reasons, but one of which, they prided themselves on the advent of the asylum, the mental health care center. Of course, what nobody likes to talk about is the fact that 90% of the people, men and women, but very largely women, and there were asylums only for women like ours, that were locked up there, were not mad in any way. Some of them may have been depressed, some of them may have attempted suicide, some of them, their husbands just wanted to get rid of them, or they may have had a difference of political opinion, or they may have wanted to vote. That was a very easy way to get rid of people. Okay. I'm a complete history nerd, obviously, and so I've gone through incredible periods of study of the Renaissance and the Tudors and the Baroque and whatever, but this one is particularly interesting to me because we can see where we came from. It's so close. It's the closest thing to us, and it's really not that different, and that's for better and for worse, and a lot of the time for worse. I'm sure I'm going on far too long, but no, it all comes around to the subject of Opheliac, which is the album, which is very deliberate to talk about the character of Ophelia, who Opheliac is my made-up word for a medical condition of a person who lives their life like this archetypal character of Shakespeare's Ophelia. So the thing about that attracted me to the Victorian culture as well is that I found not only did I have this obsession with this archetypal character who seemed to be a lot like me, but Victorian culture had an insane obsession with this character. They actually, you have the pre-Raphaelite painters who were doing constant, they were obsessed with the vision of female suicide. They glamorized it. It became this thing that was just beautiful, and that's where the Art of Suicide song is completely sarcastic from beginning to end. It's just a complete, pretty and clean.